after a dog. It was a very compact self-propelled gun based on the chassis of a Czechoslovakian light tank, the TNHP. This meant that it had quite large road wheels but used leaf spring suspension, so it wasn't actually terribly comfortable. It was armed with a 75mm gun low down in the front and was regarded in its day as a very effective little SP, usually firing from ambush so it could take out an enemy tank and then sort of fade into the distance very quickly. They were used on the Russian front and then latterly to some extent in northwest Europe as well. Carries a crew of 4, powered by a Praga engine which is located at the back, and quite heavily armoured up to 60mm on the front, which you need in a self-propelled gun because you have to take some punishment. But you don't see many of them. We've got an original one in the museum if you want to go and have a proper look at one that isn't racing about and getting in people's way. It's just inside by the King Tiger and worth going to have a look at because it's really rather overshadowed by the King Tiger nowadays and gets overlooked. But it was a viable fighting vehicle in its own right and the Germans used many of them. After the war, they continued in production for the Czechoslovakian army and later on went into service with the Swiss army as the G13. And many of the Hetzers you'll see at shows today are actually G13s reworked back to their German configuration. This one, however, is an original German vehicle, so it's probably that much more useful to us for that reason. One of the things they said about them was that the armour didn't fit terribly well, and in rain you could get soaking wet inside as well as outside, which wasn't the ideal arrangement, still. He's just going to prove that he can turn white now by going around the arena the other way, or that bit of it.